Day in 10 years.
Nobody was here at all?
No, outside of that. Great day, great day.
Great day.
I'll tell you later.
Let's do this.
Okay, we're ready.
Today's date, 9/4/2022, for Commissioners meeting.
Need signal IT or do they have it?
I think they're on.
Hang on. Please live.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation of God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just rolled over my foot.
Oops, sorry.
I'm on a roll today.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of the Umatilla County Board of Commissioners meeting. I want to remind everybody that this is a public meeting and we are being recorded via audio and video. Awards, recognitions, and correspondence.
I have none.
It is Star Wars Day.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
May the
there
4th
you
be
go.
with you. Very
Yeah,
good.
two of my sons were at Disneyland for the celebration.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow. That's a
Okay.
blast.
Seems how we digressed already.
I don't even know what it's about.
Approval of previous minutes from the April 19th and April 20th meetings.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public input, recognition of visitors. If anybody wants to address the board on any item that is not on the agenda, now is your time to do so on the agenda.
None on the screen.
Hearing and seeing none, we'll go into our business agenda items. Number one is the Pendleton Sanitary Services rate increase.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Gina Miller with the Umatilla County Planning Department and Staff Liaison to the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. With me today is Mike McHenry, owner and president of Pendleton Sanitary Service and chairman of the SWAC. And I'd like to thank Doug for stealing my opening line this morning. Happy Star Wars Days. All right, we have two items before you this morning. The first of which is the rate increase. Okay, we received a rate increase request from Pendleton Sanitary. On April 12th, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee met and voted to recommend the rate increase forward, to move forward with the rest of the protocol. After that, the public notice was published in the EO on April 16th for a 14-day public notice period that ended April 29th at 5 p.m. The public notice was also posted in the community at 3 prominent locations in the service area for Pendleton Sanitary. We did not receive any written remonstrances or comments during that time frame. So today now we have the rate increase request before you for the final approval. Mr. McHenry is here to answer any questions that you might have, and the request and information is in your packets.
My only comment is I would like to say thanks, Mike, because after going through the math, the majority of these were rounded down to the consumer side. And I think that people don't really notice that, but over a year, that really makes a difference. And I do appreciate that.
Oh, you bet. That one of the things, so just a little background, I say in there, Pendleton Sanitary Service is allowed by the city ordinance within the city limits to increase rates by the amount of the Pacific region CPI, which in 21 was 6.5%, or 3.5%, whichever is less, rounded to the nearest 5 cents. So if it's, we round down if it's, anyway, that's how that's.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
You bet.
It does add up.
Yeah, it does.
I thought you were gonna complain about the fact you weren't served by Pendleton Sanitary. Because both Commissioner Schaefer and myself are.
Well, somebody needs to
So
test
I would
the
make
other.
the motion, satisfied customer, to adopt that resolution.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you for that. And now you're still up with the solid waste franchise renewals.
Yes, sir. We have also on April 12th, when the Solid Waste Advisory Committee met, they received the franchise renewals from all of the current and active service areas. The franchise requests were found to have met the criteria of having their franchise fees paid current through the fourth quarter of 2021, and they've all provided proof of their liability insurance. So the Solid Waste Advisory Committee voted unanimously to recommend all franchises for renewal to you, the board, for final approval. And again, before you today in your packets is documentation to that effect.
Any questions?
I have none on that one.
I have none.
I too have none. Before we let you go, Mike, I want to thank you for your service on the committee. I mean, you've done a fantastic job. You and I've had this discussion one-on-one, but I want to acknowledge it publicly.
Thank you.
So,
I
thank
appreciate
you
you
for
saying
everything.
I'd move to adopt orders number BCC 2022 dash,
One at a time, please.
one at a time, please, 027.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 I'd move to adopt order number 2022 dash 028.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. I'd move to adopt budget order number 2022 dash 029.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. I'd move to adopt budget order number 2022 dash 030.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. I move to adopt budget order number 2022 dash 031.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. I move to adopt budget order number 2022 dash 032.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. I move to adopt budget order number 2022 dash 033.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
I'm gonna do the thing with the
Transportation Advisory
I got more
Committee.
information I need to get.
Oh,
Thank you. Oh, so we're not doing that one, so it's on.
number 3 is going to be deferred to a later date.
Oh, okay.
Which one?
Solid
The
Waste
annual
Committee
report,
report.
they'll do it at a later date.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Megan Dobchevsky, County Transit Coordinator. Recently, the Oregon legislator is requiring counties to consolidate the Special Transportation Fund and the Statewide Transportation Improvement Fund. Each of those two funds have advisory committees, and because of this consolidation is required to occur by June 30th of 2023, staff are requesting the board to void those existing STF and STIF committees and create a new Umatilla County Transportation Advisory Committee, UCTAC, which would serve both the senior and disabled population as well as the general public transit. Staff are requesting the UCTAC committee be effective beginning July 1, 2022 in order to coincide with the new project selections for the next biennium. Project selections that will begin in fall 2022. Following the creation of this, a public notice will be sent out to existing committee members for any of their interests to be in this new committee, as well as it will be posted as required by state statute. So appointments aren't before you today, but they will be coming in the near future.
And this is a requirement of the state legislature, correct?
It's not a direct requirement, but because the two funds are being consolidated by requirement, staff think it would be best to have just one committee rather than two separate committees.
Current committee members aware?
Yes, yes.
And at the state level, they're doing away with the STF and applying everything to STIF. So they're, at the state level, will be one committee as well, so.
Okay.
Stiffing the current committee.
We're witty this morning.
Just on the function side, do we need, is this two separate, or can we combine them both as the way the peak is written?
Yeah, if you just adopt the order, it takes care of
It'll
everything.
be fine on both ends? Okay. I move to adopt budget order, or adopt order number BCC 2022-026.
Second.
Got a motion, a second, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You're still up.
I am. So the next one's a follow-up. Before you are the proposed bylaws for the UTAC committee. These are kind of a combination of the existing STF bylaws and STIF bylaws, and as well as the new requirements that the state has put forward. So staff has drafted this with county council, and it's before you for adoption.
Any questions?
I have another quick question. Because these are coming before the board, if the committee wishes to change the bylaws at all, do those changes have to come back to the board also? Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, that done, entertain a motion.
I so move.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sheriff's Office Recruitment, Under Sheriff, is that you? Standing.
Morning, gentlemen. Jim Littlefield, Under Sheriff at the Sheriff's Office. What we have before you is a request to increase our amount for our signing bonuses in an effort to try to attract some lateral certified candidates for our patrol officers, our corrections officers, and our dispatchers. We currently have some shortages in all divisions for personnel, and hope that this will enhance our efforts to try to attract some folks who are already trained and bring levels of training and certification through DPSST that we don't currently have. We have a number of applicants now, but they're all non-certified persons for these positions, and we've discussed this several times before, but the difference between hiring a certified candidate is a lot less training time and expense than if you hire a non-certified person and they have to go through the state's mandated certification courses for police and dispatch and corrections. So hopefully this will help us to attract those candidates. We've upped the amounts. They were 5,000, 6,500, and 8,000, and now we're requesting 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000 for the appropriate levels of certification.
Well, we have vetted this issue at length, so I would move we proceed.
I would second it, and I agree. I think some of the best discussions we've had actually was instigated when Under Sheriff Littlefield presented this some time ago, and I think it's been an extremely constructive discussion at all levels, so thank you for bringing this
The
forward.
program's been in place, I think, since 2018, something like that, and we've managed to attract some certified candidates before, so hoping this will continue along that trend.
So we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, and while I got a second, just like to take a moment to publicly acknowledge that this is National Corrections Week, the first week of May every year. President Reagan in '84 designated that as National Corrections Week, so we want to make sure that we appreciate publicly our corrections officers, not only at the Sheriff's Office, our court security, our members of the Corrections Division, so and nationwide, they're the backbone of our agency, and we want to publicly make sure that we appreciate all those corrections officers. So thanks for that.
Well, you have a double whammy this morning because two of them are at the front door.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys.
I wasn't aware of that. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
I wasn't either when I said good morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Did I see Karen on the phone for the dispatch?
Yes, I'm here.
Still here, okay?
You're up.
So I have a request for approval for the annual license, maintenance, and then for our Vesta upgrade. I came before you last fall hoping that, or actually last spring, hoping this would happen in the fall. Due to their supply lines and a number of factors, it has been delayed. So what we're looking at is the upgrade for the Vesta refresh is what they're calling it. And what I'm looking for is approval for $34,660.81. What this will provide is the maintenance and continued warranty and the licensing for the upgrade. There will be a credit. We just don't know where that's going to end up at this point. It depends on how long the install is going to take. And the OEM person that I've been working with, as well as Lumen, suggested that we do it all in one, even though it's an outlay cost. rather than trying to do a repeated draft for quotes every 3 to 6 months, depending on how their supply lines work. So that's what I'm asking for.
And does that come out of the dispatch reserve fund, or where's that coming from?
I believe that is where it's going to come from because it's all related to the Vesta network. And like I said, most of it's covered by OEM. Part of what you're looking at is going to be for the 6th position that the county has approved to fund.
Because the state only funds 5 stations, correct?
That is correct.
I'm here to tell you the county needs each and every one of those 6 stations. I don't care what the state says. So, any questions?
No, I thought you would declare a conflict, for heaven's sake.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Karen.
Motion.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda is the elections payable, Mr. Lanai.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you, we have a payable from Ryder Graphics, which is our printer of the ballots for our elections. And before you is a payable for $23,056.28 for the printing of the May ballots for this coming election.
Okay, any questions?
Dan, just out of curiosity, what do you estimate the general election is going to be in the same range, double, 2.5, 1.5?
Well, pretty much the amounts don't really change. I mean, the dollar amounts don't change much for each page being printed. But right now with the primary, there's more ballots usually because of the Democratic and the Republican, different ballot styles, we call those. So sometimes there's a little extra cost for that. So if there's a little inflation, different things, general should be about the same or maybe a little bit less because we won't have as many ballot styles. But yeah.
What do you predict for percentage?
In the 20s, maybe we'll hit 30, but 27%. I mean, and that's, everybody's going to be low though too. It's not just that we're super low there, but everybody will be around probably 30, 40, depending. You know, some of the smaller counties like Wallowa, they turn out, so they're going to just wreck the curve there. But I'm estimating 29% probably.
What a shame.
That's just sad.
Yeah, agreed. Okay,
I move for approval.
Second.
motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Pendleton Enterprise Zone requirements suspension.
Okay, what's coming before the board is consideration to opt into an exemption that was provided by the Oregon Legislature. Under the interzone requirements, applicants have to maintain a certain level of employment, new employment, and the legislature allowed those businesses that were impacted by COVID to suspend the hiring requirements for a period of time, and that is subject to the sponsors enacting a process for doing so. And what's before the board right now is an enactment for the City of Pendleton and Pilot Rock Enterprise Zone to allow the suspension of eligibility requirements for businesses within the zone that cannot meet the employment requirements due to COVID.
Is that for existing businesses also, or is that just for new businesses?
It's ones that are current enterprise zone in the program,
Okay.
not just any business, just any ones that are in
Anybody
the
that's in
program.
the enterprise zone program.
Program.
Got it. Any other questions?
I'd move to adopt order number BCC 2022-036.
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Investment advisor.
Morning, Board. Robert Paul, CFO. Currently, the county is in a position to invest some surplus funds. Historically, we've been in a rate environment where it hasn't been too lucrative to go out and invest in outside the state pool, but we find ourselves in a position where we have more money in the state pool than is statutorily recommended. And we also are in an interest rate environment where I think we can gain substantial return. And so I'm requesting that we do an RFP for an investment advisor, and so that we can invest some of our excess funds.
So what this really boils down to is what we're trying to do is protect the assets that the county has.
Well, certainly the philosophy is conservative, to risk very little chance of loss of principal, but to maximize some sort of return. We're not the least bit speculative, so it'll be all very conservative investments.
Yeah. I guess to me, when I look at it, it looks like the same thing as taking care of our buildings and everything else. Is we need to protect the assets of the people of Umatilla County.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'd move for approval to authorize the issuance of a request for proposal for investment services for the county.
Second?
A motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
It's going to be interesting to see how this comes back.
Thank you. Yeah,
It's a wide range.
I think there'll be quite a variety
Yeah,
of
I do too.
Options.
I really do.
Agreed. Comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Dorn?
At this time, with what we heard from Under Sheriff Littlefield, I'd move that we recognize that this is National Corrections Month, National Corrections Officer Month, the month of May, by the Umatilla County Commissioners.
I'd second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
I say done. Anything else?
That's all I've got, believe it or not.
Commissioner Murdoch?
Yeah.
All right. I do not have anything at this time. I will say that, sorry.
You sound like me now.
I know. I actually had the luxury of stopping in at the job fair yesterday down at the convention center. We had a booth, the county had a booth set up, and I got to sit at the booth there for a little bit, and it was very well attended. I was very impressed, and I thought the chamber did a very good job on that job fair. So hopefully we get some of these open jobs filled. So
It was well attended.
Yeah, it was. So they heard I was there. So
It really does seem like a lot of
No,
these
no, I'm
job
just
fairs have been
curious.
well attended.
it kind of came in waves, but yeah, there was quite a few people that came and went. So it was good. So all right. With that, we are adjourned until 10:30. Not us, but the.
Right, well, the 10:30 will be a budget hearing for the separate special district.
Okay, all right. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Well, someone who seemed to be unemployed, I don't know.